Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live coverage of Starlink Group 13-4 mission launching from the West Coast, that is from the pad Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. If this is your first time here, hi, my name is Dipta Maitra, your friend and the host, providing commentary for today's mission launch, and you are watching AstroYonder live.
Roger, 0G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around.
Houston, we see a nominal MECO. Welcome to space.
We hope you all are doing fine and excited about the upcoming Starlink launch. Fortunately, which got delayed, which was previously conflicting with the liftoff time or the webcast time for the Crew 11 mission. But for sure, I know and personally, I feel so that I'm disheartened for the scrub for Crew 11 mission launch that happened today, some couple of minutes or hour ago. But now we are super excited bringing you the coverage of SpaceX's 522nd overall launch and the 94th Falcon 9 launch of this year. This also suggests that SpaceX is going to have their 100th mission launch for this year with 7 more launches to go. Today it's the 33rd launch from Vandenberg Space Force Base for SpaceX as they continue to build their incredible launch cadence for the year. Today's launch is a special one as it marks the 4th Starlink mission to a Sun-Synchronous orbit, with first being Starlink Group 7-1 that launched in over 2 years since 2023. Back in 2023, Group 3 launches had version 1.5 Starlink satellites that were meant for the Sun-Synchronous orbit. This is also the 4th time the version 2 mini variant is heading to a Sun-Synchronous orbit. And worth mentioning, the previous launch of Group 13, that is Group 13-1, had 21 Starlink version 2 satellites and 2 classified payloads for National Reconnaissance Office says proliferated architecture based on Starshield satellite bus targeting low Earth orbit with 43 degrees inclination. But this launch is significant as it targets a near polar orbit with 97.6 degrees inclination, designed to enhance Starlink's coverage over remote polar regions. I will get into the details shortly, and also just see the difference. Previously, the Group 13-1 had 21 Starlink satellites plus 2 classified payloads. And today it's 19 Starlink version 2 satellites will be getting launched. So we can hope that there will be some more classified payloads on board for today's Starlink Group 13-4 mission. But although it's not explicitly stated by SpaceX, but we can speculate that from the previous trend. Now, just a quick update. Today's launch attempt for Crew 11 has been scrubbed due to the poor weather conditions. At the very last minute, during T-1 minutes, we heard the whole call out for the Crew 11 mission launch due to the cumulus cloud popping up just above the pad, and also there was some nearby storms going on. Our next Crew 11 launch attempt will be at 11:43 a.m. Eastern Daytime, 15:43 hours UTC on Friday, August 1st of 2025, that is tomorrow. But bear in mind, according to the 45th Weather Squadron officials, the report suggests that the ascent corridor recovery weather conditions will be more worse than today for tomorrow and day after tomorrow's launch opportunities for Crew 11 launch. But right now, here we are standing by for a Falcon 9 liftoff at 11:35 a.m. Pacific time, 2:35 p.m. Eastern time from California for a southwesterly launch for SpaceX Starlink mission. The Starlink mission Group 13-4 will launch a batch of 19 Starlink satellites to low Earth orbit. Now, before we dive into the mission details, on behalf of AstroYonder team and our awesome moderators, we want to thank all of you joining us for today's launch. We are so grateful to have you as part of the stream. Really appreciate you being here. A huge shout out to our amazing YouTube community for the support as we bring you detailed coverage of space launches with all the stats and in-depth insights. We are truly grateful to have you all here with us. I would really appreciate if you guys could join the chat and let us know where you are joining us from. Also, feel free to share any questions, suggestions, or opinion with us, which will make us to improve our stream and also to know your perspective. We would be super grateful to hear from you guys. Now, just a heads up, like every stream, it's me only managing the launch coverages on my own. So if by chance we face any technical issues, please bear with me and be tuned in. I will do my best to guide you through the Falcon 9 rocket launch happening in approximately 35 minutes from now. There is absolutely nothing to worry about and you won't miss anything. Once again, just a reminder, SpaceX is currently targeting a liftoff time of Falcon 9 from Vandenberg Space Force Base at 11:35 a.m. Pacific Time, 2:35 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, July 31st of 2025. Now, let's get back to today's mission. As we don't receive the launch weather forecast for Vandenberg flights from 45th Weather Squadron, but so far the report suggests that the weather is looking good for today's Falcon 9 launch opportunity and the range is ready to support. Weather officials keeping a keen eye on weather for any probability of launch weather constraint violations as well as range violations. Previously, we did saw a scrub for range violations during another Starlink mission launch. The forecast calls for a temperature of approximately 15 degrees Celsius, overcast clouds with 88% cloud cover and a wind speed of 12 miles per hour. But anyways, we hope that they are able to launch on time and not have to push out too far. But if they do so, that will be 2 times heartbreaking disaster for a person to sustain. But anyways, now let's move on and take a look at today's payload details for Starlink Group 13-4 mission. Now, before discussing about the payload, just a quick reminder, today's launch does not include any of the newer optimized Starlink version 2 satellites, nor does it carry any direct-to-cell satellites. These are the regular and basic version 2 mini variant of Starlink satellites. These Starlink satellites are built in Redmond, Washington, and today's payload consists of 19 Starlink version 2 mini satellites. According to the previous trend from the Group 13 launch, we can speculate that today's payload will be consisting some of the classified payloads for National Reconnaissance Office, because previously the Group 13-1 mission launched 21 Starlink satellites, version 2 of mini satellites, having 2 more classified payloads for National Reconnaissance Office proliferated architecture. Today's launch is the 68th dedicated Starlink mission of the year and the 287th dedicated Starlink launch in total. Before this launch, SpaceX had already sent up 1,663 Starlink satellites in 2025 alone. Now with this one, the count jumps to 1,682, which already crossed the 1,500 mark for this year. Now, and if we include the 22 version 3 variants launched on 3 Starship flights back in this year, then it's a total of 1,704 Starlink satellites launched in 2025 alone. We must agree that's really an astounding pace SpaceX is maintaining. About the technicalities and the specification of the Starlink satellites, each of these satellites having 5 advanced Ku band phased array antennas, 3 dual band parabolic antennas which utilizes Ka and E bands, and a dual solar array that spreads out to about 100 feet wide with a total surface area of 52.5 square meters. And not to forget these solar arrays, these 2 solar arrays are also aeroneutral, which enable faster on-orbit maneuvers. Each satellite is equipped with high-capacity battery to provide power to the payloads. Each of the Starlink satellite features 3 space laser transponders, also known as optical intersatellite links, ISL in short, for intercommunications, for communicating with space lasers that moves data at speeds up to 200 Gbps. They make use of argon-fueled Hall effect thrusters for in-orbit maneuvering, previously which was Krypton-based, and this switch was mainly due to the cost effectiveness argon provides compared to Krypton. Now, here is a quick context that why this switch was being made. Relative to Krypton, the argon required to fuel the Starlink version 2 satellites will be practically free. Now, to put this into perspective, fueling its next constellation of almost 30,000 version 2 satellites could cost SpaceX less than fueling 4,000 version 1 satellites, which were based on Krypton. So I hope that you can understand that really it makes a huge difference. Also, SpaceX claims that its second generation thrusters using argon has 2.4 times the thrust and 1.5 times the specific impulse of previously Krypton-based thrusters. This batch is going to be deployed initially in an orbit with an altitude of approximately 311 kilometers with an inclination of 97.6 degrees. But the operational orbit will be a Sun-Synchronous orbit up around 559 kilometers with the same inclination, that is of 97.6 degrees. Each version 2 mini satellite weighs approximately 1,763 pounds, equivalent to 800 kilograms. Just for the context, each of the optimized version of Starlink satellites, which we are seeing nowadays. SpaceX is launching. They weigh around 1,268 pounds, or you can say 575 kilograms, which is about 22% lighter than the original version 2 mini design. That's the weight for a single satellite. If we consider the whole batch of 19 satellites, or consider it 28 satellites, and even SpaceX launched 29 of them, the highest, uh, it makes a huge difference compared to the original version 2 mini design. Now, Starlink satellite uses custom-built star tracker to find their position, altitude, and orientation for optimal broadband throughput. Each one has 4 reaction wheels for precise attitude control, and their aluminum flywheel is designed to safely burn up at the end of their useful life. Now, additionally, Starlink satellites, they have an onboard autonomous collision avoidance system that uses the US Department of Defense debris tracking database for avoiding collisions with space junk, other spacecraft, and other Starlink satellites autonomously. Now, to grasp why an autonomous collision avoidance system is so important, here is a quick context. According to a SpaceX report published last year, where they stated that Starlink satellite carried out about 275 collision avoidance maneuvers every single day. And in that previous 6 months leading up to that report, when this report got published, they performed around 50,000 such maneuvers. So I guess these bold numbers make you understand the criticality and significance of an onboard autonomous collision avoidance system. Now, SpaceX recently is suing the AST Space Mobiles for their satellites not maintaining this uh, uh, autonomous collision avoidance systems on orbit, as because it poses threat to their satellites and as well as for SpaceX's Starlink satellites. So I hope the things will get right soon. Now, just a quick reminding note, we previously saw Group 14 being skipped entirely, with SpaceX jumping straight to Group 15. It's similar with Group 16 being skipped and moving on with Group 17. Today's mission also marks the 4th Starlink mission to a Sun-Synchronous orbit inclination in over 2 years, following Group 3-5 launch back in 2023. Previously, we had 5 launches under previously we had only one launch under Group 3 that deployed, I'm saying it wrong. Previously, we had 5 launches itself under Group 3, each deploying 46 numbers of version 1.5 Starlink satellites to Sun-Synchronous orbit at an altitude of 560 kilometers with a 97.6 degrees inclination. Similarly, today Group 13-4 mission will target a near polar orbit with the same inclination, that is of 97.6 degrees, but with an altitude of 559 kilometers. This Sun-Synchronous orbit is intended to improve Starlink's coverage in remote polar regions, and previously Sun-Synchronous orbit launches were just for version 1.5 variants, but with Starlink Group 17 and Group 13 now, it's going to be for the version 2 mini satellites reaching the Sun-Synchronous orbit. But today there is a twist. As I mentioned previously, the previous launch of Group 13, that is Group 13-1, launched 21 Starlink version 2 satellites and 2 classified payloads for the National Reconnaissance Office proliferated architecture based on Starlink satellite bus which targeted a low Earth orbit with 43 degrees inclination. Although today is the same Group 13 launch, but it is targeting a Sun-Synchronous orbit with 97.6 degrees inclination. Also, the 19 satellites on this launch indicates that this mission may similarly carry more classified payloads as previous recent missions to this inclination have included 24 Starlink satellites, 5 more than are on this mission. I know these technical jargons are boring. Sorry for making the stream boring. Just wanted to provide you a bit of more insight. Now, just a quick note. Recently, with the May 4, 2025 Starlink launch, SpaceX broke its own record by launching 29 version 2 mini optimized satellites, surpassing the previous high of 28. That was the biggest batch yet for version 2 mini variant. In comparison, the highest for version 1 is 60 satellites, and for version 1.5, it's 56. Before today's launch, SpaceX launched 35 times of its optimized version 2 mini variants, bringing the total to 951 number of satellites. Now, once again, just to clarify, today's payload does not consist of any upgraded optimized Starlink version 2 minis or any direct-to-cell satellites on board. This batch features the regular baseline version 2 mini variant. Now, today I won't be getting into the optimization part for the Starlink because today's payload does not consist optimized versions of Starlink. Although if you want to know that what optimizations being made and why SpaceX is launching the optimized versions lately, and so many of them, you can check out our previous Vandenberg flight of Starlink 7-2 mission. There I discussed these things in details. Now, a kind request to you all. I know, guys, it's still early in the stream, but if this stream fuels your love for space, give this stream a like. It helps this stream get discovered by amazing space enthusiasts like you who are joining us right now. Would be super grateful for your kind support. Now, please allow us a couple of seconds to check whether the launch is on time or not and to stay updated. As of now, no issues. Liftoff is on time. That's quite nice. Now let's take a look at the flight record for the booster supporting today's Starlink 13-4 mission. The booster with tail number 1071 supporting today's mission is quite a mature booster with 26 previous flights in its record, including 5 National Reconnaissance Office missions, that is a NROL mission, namely NROL 87, 85, 146, 153, and 192 missions. 3 SpaceX's rideshare missions, Transporter 8, 9, and 14 missions. Sarah 1, SWAT, and the second flight for SpaceX's new rideshare series, that is the Bandwagon 2 mission. I hope you guys noticed that on the SpaceX's website they mentioned this booster supported Transporter 13 mission. That is incorrect one. Actually, it supported Transporter 14 mission, and that was the last supported mission by this booster from here at Vandenberg on 22nd of June this year. And additionally, the booster also supported 15 Starlink missions, now awaiting its 27th flight, supporting the 16th Starlink mission approximately 18 minutes from now. The booster's turnaround time as of today is 38 days. The last mission supported by today's booster was the Transporter 14, as I mentioned before. This launch also marks the booster's sixth flight of 2025, supporting today's mission. It is worth mentioning that this booster has completed all of its 26 previous launches from right here at Vandenberg itself. So that's all about the booster supporting today's mission. Now let's have a look at the bar graph showing the number of Falcon 9 launches each year. Prior to this launch, SpaceX completed its 93rd Falcon 9 launch for this year with Starlink Group 10-29 mission launch from Cape Canaveral on July 29, 2025. As of now, SpaceX obscured the total number of annual launches made till year 2022, now having 32 more than the launches made back in that year. Now, with today's launch, Starlink Group 13-4 mission, the bar graph shows 94 number of Falcon 9 launches for 2025. As of now, SpaceX is less than halfway to reach the number of launches made in year 2023 and 2024. And with today's launch, SpaceX will be only 2 behind 2023's total and 38 short of 2024. This year again, SpaceX is targeting to break its own record with around 170 launches, which is well beyond last year's total of 134, which included 2 Falcon Heavy missions as well. It's a pretty ambitious target, but hopefully they make it. Now, just to remind you, SpaceX reached several major milestones this year, but the main highlights are they marked the 500th successful mission launch with commercial GTO-1 mission for Falcon 9 itself, while on June 12th, Starlink launch from Vandenberg marked the 500th overall successful mission for SpaceX. Then, just a day later, on June 13th, Starlink launch from Cape Canaveral, they completed the first generation of their direct-to-cell satellite constellation. Truly back-to-back milestones for SpaceX. Now some more milestones to reach, and they are waiting just around the corner to reach the 100th launch for this year and to surpass 2023's annual launch count of 96 launches. Now, skipping the pre-launch timeline, since this is a typical Falcon 9 launch for Starlink with absolutely no deviations in any of the pre-launch events, and you can track the pre-launch timeline updating live on the upper left-hand side of your screen. However, there's only one point I would like to highlight, that the strong back reclining process here at Vandenberg differs from that at Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center. Here at Vandenberg, we recline the strong back 13 degrees, whereas at Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center, we recline the strong back about 1.5 degrees or 2 max away from the Falcon 9. That's the only thing different in today's pre-launch schedule, as this is a Vandenberg flight. Now, just a reminder, SpaceX is currently targeting a liftoff time of Falcon 9 from Vandenberg Space Force Base at 11:35 a.m. Pacific Time, 2:35 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, July 31st of 2025. We are approximately 8 minutes away from the webcast to begin. Let's just quickly get done with the stats we have for you and the insights. Having your support inspires us to push forward and give our best to meet what you hope for. If this stream fuels your love for space, give this stream a like. It's a kind of fine-tuning the trajectory of our mission to build a community with amazing space enthusiasts like you. And also, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification so that you won't miss a single launch update. Would be super grateful to have you with us in the upcoming streams. Now let's go ahead and briefly step through the trajectory for today's Starlink mission. Falcon 9 leaving the pad from Space Launch Complex 4 East from Vandenberg Space Force Base. With the spacecraft on board, the batch of 19 Starlink satellites and probably, although I'm speculating, some classified payloads for a southwest trajectory drifting away from the coast of Southern California, heading into a low Earth orbit. That is to the 13th shell of second generation Starlink mega constellation, indicated by that green line on your screen. The red line you see indicates where Falcon 9 first stage will land after stage separation, just a little later, leaving California's coast. This is going to be a off-the-land landing, supported by the drone ship, of course, I Still Love You, here at the west coast. This will be the 144th successful drone ship landing on, of course, I Still Love You, if successful. Now, some recovery specifics for you. The planned booster recovery is approximately 595 kilometers, with estimated fairing recovery approximately 650 kilometers downrange. And the stage 2 debris re-entry will be in the South Pacific Ocean on its second orbit. Now on your screen are some of the stats related to drone ship. Currently, we know there are 3 in SpaceX's drone ship fleet. Of the 3, of course, I Still Love You is based here at California, and other 2 just read the instructions. And a shortfall of Gravitas are based in Florida. We anticipate the addition of a 4th drone ship as promised by SpaceX earlier, which maybe will occur late this year, or I'm not sure, maybe early next year, because as of now we are not getting any information regarding that. But SpaceX did promise about addition of a 4th drone ship. Now, speaking of fairing recovery, SpaceX will utilize a recovery vessel to retrieve both the fairing halves from Pacific waters. The 2 halves of the payload fairing will be recovered slightly farther, approximately 55 kilometers downrange from where the first stage lands on the drone ship. Of course, I Still Love You, after they will smoothly splash down with the guidance of parachutes. Now you can see how a recovery operation looks like, fairing recovery operation looks like, although the recovery vessel on your screen is Doug, performing the recovery operations, but today's supporting recovery vessel is Go Beyond here at the Pacific. Other recovery vessels at the East Coast, Doug, Bob, and Go Cosmos are awaiting for their next assignment. We are just 4 minutes away from the webcast to begin. Now, let's quickly wrap up the insights coming to the stats. Today's launch marks the 522nd SpaceX's overall launch and the 68th dedicated Starlink launch of this year. This is going to be the 509th Falcon 9 launch to date, 27th flight of this particular Falcon 9 booster supporting today's mission, with tail number 1071 being in action after 38 days. Today's mission marks the 94th Falcon 9 launch and SpaceX's 97th overall launch of 2025. This will be the 449th Falcon 9 reflight to date. That is the launch of a booster that has flown at least once before. 139th orbital launch for SpaceX, launching from Space Launch Complex 4 East, and the 207th overall orbital launch from Pad Sleek 4 East. With the success of this mission, SpaceX will have a remarkable 9,336 Starlink satellites, including 674 dedicated direct-to-cell satellites launched to date. Now, just to remind you, as I mentioned before, as of now, SpaceX completed their first generation of direct-to-cell constellation with the previous June 13th Starlink launch from Cape. Coming to some reusability statistics, this launch marks the 433rd Falcon 9 booster reflight to date, 144th landing on, of course, I Still Love You drone ship, 27th landing of this first stage booster with tail number 1071 supporting today's mission. With this mission's first stage landing, SpaceX marks their 391st overall drone ship landing, marking 463rd Falcon 9 landing so far, and the 482nd SpaceX's overall landing to date. After this mission, SpaceX will be just 9 short of reaching 400 overall drone ship landing and 18 away from hitting the 500 total landings. Just a quick note, we are not counting the landing failure on Just Read the Instructions drone ship during the Starlink Group 12-20 mission this year, as it was a partial success. So there's a difference of 1 you can notice in the Falcon 9 and overall landing stats compared to what that is listed on SpaceX's website. So please don't get confused. Now, speaking of drone ship landing, here are some of the stats prior to today's mission. The previous landing supported by, of course, I Still Love You drone ship was the group 17-2 mission back in July 26th. That marked the 143rd successful landing on this drone ship. Please note that these drone ship landing stats, which are right now on your screen, are excluding today's mission. These are prior to today's launch. Now, coming to some of the stats related to SpaceX launches, specifically this year. This launch marks SpaceX's 97th launch. Out of those, 67 are Starlink missions, including this one. 26 were non-Starlink missions and 3 Starship launches. 89 of these missions using a reuse booster, including today's one as well. Now, the geographical distribution of these launches gives us that SpaceX is having 61 launches from East Coast. On the West Coast, they will be having 33 launches with today's mission, that is from Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base, 3 launches from Gulf Coast at Starbase back in Texas, and 2 Super Heavy booster catches for Starship 7th and 8 test flight. On Flight 9, no Super Heavy booster catch was attempted. Now, according to the speculations, guess Starship Test Flight 10 will be no earlier than second week of August if everything goes as planned. Elon also confirmed the target month as of now. Also, he mentioned about his hopes regarding the launch of Starship version 3 by this year end. Also, at the same time now, the Ship 38's payload testing is going on for the cryo testing ahead of Starship Flight 10. And Starship 37 made its trip to the modified Launchpad for its static fire campaign ahead of Flight 10. Now, moving with the stats again for landing, they will be nailing it for the 92nd time this year. Most of the landings are on drone ship with 81 landings. And as of now, a shortfall of Gravitas and, of course, I Still Love You will be having equal number of landings to have for this year with today's mission. For ground landings, they pulled off 11 of them as of now. Now, I guess it's time for the webcast to begin. So let's just quickly move to the webcast. Yes, they start rolling the webcast. Let me just quickly set up the stream for you guys. You won't be missing anything. Don't worry. So there we go. We have the live feed of the Falcon 9. Now, a couple of some more stats to share with you guys. Prior to today's launch, the success rate for ground landings is 98.91%, and for drone ship landing, it is 97.02%. And the overall landing success rate for SpaceX is 97.37%. This year, the landing success rate dropped to 98.91% due to the failure of booster with tail number 1086 to land successfully on Just Read the Instructions droneship during Starlink Group 12-20 mission. Today's mission is the 158th launch since last mission failure, that is the Starlink 9-3 mission. Prior to this mission, 367 missions had at least one reused fairing, and approximately 702 number of fairing halves were reused prior to this launch, with a fairing half reused to reach a maximum of 32 times being reused. This launch marks the 169th orbital launch for the year, and United States is leading with 109 launches with 64.5%, followed by China with 41 launches,
Stage 1 live load is complete.
Russia with 9 launches, 2 launches by Japan and 3 by India, Europe with 4 launches, and Australia with 1 launch recently, which marked the first Australian-made rocket ERASE to launch from its own country soil. Now we are about to witness the 94th launch of Falcon 9 for this year. As of now, we heard the stage 1 LOX load being complete. We are still loading the LOX load on the second stage that will finish just inside T-minus 2 minutes mark. We'll be listening in a couple of seconds for the LOX load closeout on the second stage. We can see, although it's hazy, the strong back reclining 13 degrees away from the Falcon 9. Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
Ground gas closeout.
And there we go, the ground gas closeout. That's where we bleed the extra pressure off, and that cold gas, when it reacts with the moist, humid Pacific air, gives us some white night cloud. But although we can see that right now, it's an healthy indicator of launch coming up. Next event T-minus 1 minute, we should hear the call out that the Falcon 9 flight computers are in startup and controlling the rocket for the remainder of the countdown.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Right on time, Falcon 9 flight computers on stage 1 and stage 2 are running the rocket to the last minute of count. Let's listen in the go call out.
Launch director, go for launch.
Absolutely on time. SpaceX launch director giving the final go for the launch. We are coming up approximately 34 seconds prior to the liftoff. All system continues to remain go for the launch of Falcon 9 and Starlink. So now let's sit back and enjoy the liftoff for the Falcon 9 of Starlink Group 13-4 mission.
T-minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. And liftoff of Falcon 9. Go SpaceX, go Starlink.
The vehicle is pitching downrange.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
We have a successful liftoff. Falcon 9 has successfully cleared the tower. 25 seconds into the flight. Stage 1 M1E chamber pressure is nominal. We got that good call out. Right now we are into a throttle bucket. We are throttling down the 9 Merlin engines as we prepare for the period of maximum dynamic stress coming up. Some good more healthy call outs. Power and telemetry is nominal. Currently, Falcon 9 exceeded Mach 1. Falcon 9 is faster than the speed of sound as we have gone supersonic.
Max Q.
Max Q call out there. We are through the period of maximum stress on the vehicle. Right now, we throttled the 9 Merlin engines back up to full power again. Next, we will be hearing the call out for NVAC engine chill. Although due to the fog out there at Vandenberg, we didn't, according to me, we didn't got so much good liftoff views, but as it is a daytime launch, we will get good views from the second stage. We got the MVAC engine chill call out prior to its ignition, just after the stage separation will occur. Now, next up, we will have three events in rapid succession: the shutdown of main engine on first stage, also known as main engine cutoff, MECO in short, followed by stage separation and ignition of the second stage MVAC engine, also known as SES-1, which will boost the payload into low Earth orbit. So let's listen to those callouts while enjoying these amazing views out there.
Main engine cutoff.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC ignition.
Flawless back-to-back events, and we got the callouts for all of them. We can see on the left-hand side those titanium hypersonic grid fins to slowly begin deploying now that the stage separation is successful.
Fairing separation confirmed.
We got the call out for a successful fairing separation. Why we are not getting any views from the second stage? They are just showing the trajectory there. Hopefully, now I'm getting a little bit like maybe there is some classified payloads. Maybe that's why. Who knows? I guess that can be an issue for not providing the visuals from this Falcon 9's second stage. But anyways, as of now, we got the call out for the fairing separation being successful. The Falcon 9 first stage is currently under the guidance of grid fins and gravity as it descends back towards Earth. Some good healthy callouts. Both the vehicles are in nominal trajectory. Now, before descending back towards the landing on droneship, of course, I still love you. The first stage will rise towards apogee, and you can see the altitude on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. I guess the apogee is 118 kilometers for today for Falcon 9's first stage before it will descend back to its droneship landing site. Second stage, meanwhile, is in middle of about 6 minutes of burn with the payload on board on its way into the parking orbit. So apogee was 118 kilometers for Falcon 9's first stage. Now slowly that altitude for the Falcon 9's first stage will be decreasing. Now next major milestone in today's flight we are looking is for the initiation of the stage 1 entry burn. As of now, the launch has been great. The first stage has done its job. Currently, it's on its way back. The second stage is running at full power. We are getting views from Falcon 9's first stage, but no views from Falcon 9's second stage. Possibly this indicates that the payload consists of some of the classified payloads for National Reconnaissance Office, targeting a inclination of 97.6 degrees for today. Now currently during this part of the flight, stage 1 completely relies on its grid fins for steering as it returns to Earth. These grid fins orient the Falcon 9s during re-entry and guide the rocket through its descent. Occasionally on the left hand side, you can see some nitrogen gas bursts from the first stage. These are basically for attitude control. By that I mean the orientation control. These are basically used to position the vehicle as it heads back towards the drone ship. And there we go, we have the confirmation of the stage 1 entry burn to startup. We just lit 3 of 9 Merlin 1D engines on the first stage, rapidly slowing down the vehicle, as you can see from the bottom left hand side of your screen from the telemetry.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
And there we go, that's the confirmation of shutdown of entry burn. And that entry burn lasted just around 23 seconds.
FTS is saved.
Now, just a heads up, this I was going to say that stage 1 FTS being saved, call out means the re-entry burn for stage 1 has been accomplished successfully. And upon hearing the stage 2 FTS being saved, that means the stage 2 is up with its orbital insertion burn. Next major milestone in today's flight is the stage 1 landing burn, but before that we will hear the call out for stage 1 being transonic. We did got the call out for stage
FTS is saved.
stage 1 being transonic. Falcon 9 is now traveling slower than the speed of sound as it heads towards its landing on, of course, I Still Love You drone ship. We did got the call out for stage 2 FTS being saved as well. And there we go.
Stage 2 internal guidance.
We got the call out for stage 1 landing burn with that center E9 engine now lit. We can see that visually as well. We are slowing down the vehicle. Furthermore, very rapidly, should be seeing those landing legs deploy any seconds now.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
Stage 1 landing legs deployed.
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And there we go. Orbital class Falcon 9 rocket's successful 463rd landing. Coming up next, we will have the second stage engine cutoff. That is, we got the call out already. And following that event, the second stage with payloads on board will enter into nearly 46 minutes of course phase as the vehicle ascends to its target orbit. Hopefully we will get the call out for orbital insertion.
Nominal orbit insertion.
And there we go. These are the call-outs we were waiting for. The second stage engine cutoff, SECO 1, as well as the confirmation of good nominal orbit. Today we didn't got any second stage view out there, as it typically suggests that the payload is consisting of some classified payloads. Now about the payload deployment, that will be happening at approximately T plus 1 hour, 3 minutes and 7 seconds. Today's launch marked SpaceX's 522nd successful mission, with landing marking their 482nd success. And also this mission marked the 287 dedicated Starlink launch to date. Now just a quick update before wrapping up the stream. Today's Crew 11 launch attempt got scrubbed due to poor weather conditions. Our next Crew 11 launch attempt will be at 11:43 a.m. Eastern Time, 15:43 hours UTC on Friday, August 1st of 2025, that is tomorrow. Although bear in mind the weather conditions at the ascent corridor recovery will be more worse than that we had today. The upcoming Crew 11 complete launch coverages starting from the launch to docking. Those streams are already posted, so please make sure to check them out. Would love to have you with us back us again. So with that, we will wrap up our coverage for now. But before that, want to thank you for tuning in today's launch coverage. It is impossible to do this broadcast without you and your kind support. So thank you for your continued encouragement of what we do here at AstroYonder. We really appreciate everyone joining us for today's launch. Once again, thanks for watching. This is AstroYonder Live and me, Dipta, sign off for now. Wishing you a happy weekend ahead, and we will see you on our next launch coverage.